Hi everyone, this is Turin Khan here. I'd like to show you today how I hollow and split models so I can print them any size on the Photon. It can be small models made larger or large models in general. Okay, first of all we shall load up the object. The model we'll be using today is the Native American Indian. The file is actually on Thingiverse. I shall put a link of it below so that you can open it and play around with it yourself. Okay, the first thing we need to do is load it up and then check it for any errors, which we have. So I shall import. And then click here to repair the model. Once the model is repaired, we'll then set the scale of the model, then save the files out. Remember that it's on 3FM format and we'll need to select STL. I'll rename the file and then save. Don't worry about the warning here, it's just letting you know you're not using the 3FM format. Then we'll load up meshmixer and then we'll import the model. Okay, now that the model is loaded in, we need to hollow it out. This is the first part. This is very important for the actual model. The first hollow that we're doing will be the inner wall of our main model once it's complete. So I'm just waiting for it to hollow out the model. Right, I want to make the inside of these walls a lot more tidier than what they are at the moment. So I'll select 2.5 on the offset and then stick the solid accuracy and the mesh density up to max. Remember that we will, if anything, be enlarging the model parts if you want it larger. So this offset here will increase the larger you actually make the model. Okay, we've got a nice smooth part now. And you notice that the higher the detail, the more contoured towards the actual outer skin the model parts will be. Wouldn't worry too much around the feathers because these will hollow out. Okay, we'll now save this out. Rename the file as hollow. And then we'll go back to 3D Builder and then load in the model for its first split. Okay, select the size, import, didn't need a repair because we repaired it earlier. The first slice is one of the most important ones because it'll open up the bottom of the model and show all the outer walls, which we can then slice and then save out afterwards as individual parts. So we go to edit, click on split, and then select keep both so we can see the whole model, and then lower the split down so it's just above the actual bottom of the hollow that we did originally, because you want to make sure you cut above that, otherwise you'll have to cut it again. Looks good there. Select keep top, because that's the part we want, and as you can see inside it's all nice and smooth, which which is ideal for what we want, and then split. And as you can tell from underneath, we've got nice walls on the inside, so that'll make printing a lot easier when we get around to doing it. Okay, now it's time to actually start doing the split. First of all, we need to turn the plate 90 degrees so it's upright. Let's keep both, and then slide it. I'm gonna split it in dead on the center of the nose, so that's got more contact with the base plate. Now you can select top and bottom so you can get an idea of whether you've got it nice and perfect, and then keep both. Always make sure you've got that on when you split these objects. Okay, we need to split it again. Again, moving it by 90 degrees. Then rotate it on the Z or the X, whatever you call it. Never been really good at that. By another 90 degrees, and then splice down the center. Okay, the next part is to start slicing it upwards. I'll do 2 slices, that'll give us 3 layers. I think the first layer I'll do underneath the chin. And trying to figure out where the best place for it is. I'll try and get it in between the 2 feathers if I can, because that way then it'll be just a nicer, tidier print. A little bit further up. I think that'll do it there, and it's halfway through that one, so yeah, that's fine, that'll print nicely. So we'll split that, and then do the next one. This will give us all 3 slices, and I shall try and get it between the feathers again, hopefully above the brow. Just wait for it to update. Yeah, that looks good enough to me, I think. Let's see if it lines up on the other side. Yep, near enough, that'll do. Now that we've got the whole model sliced, we'll now go into the boring part of saving each part out one at a time. So to do this, I need to select all. Select the part I'm going to save out, so it's deselected, then delete everything else, then save out as an STL file, and basically repeat this for every part. I'll actually do a time lapse here to save you all having to watch it. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth the effort. So I'll save this out as A1, and it's always best to save out each layer as an alphabet, so like A1, B1, C1 for each layer. That way you'll know exactly what parts go where. And here goes the time lapse. Okay, now that they're nearly all done, I'll just load up a couple of parts into the photon slicer, and you could print these out as they are, but they would be solid. you know, most of these are actually self-standing, and you shouldn't really need that much support, if anything. Always check through each part to make sure. So I'm going to rotate it onto the other side by 180 degrees, and I think that will have the most contact actually onto the bed. I'll just move that out of the way. And now we'll load another part in. Because remember, you've got plenty of space on your bed, you can print more than one part. And this part I'll rotate as well by 90 degrees. Now this will need a little bit of support, I think. Not much, just needs to catch them islands, remember. Because most of it will be printing from the bottom upwards, and there's plenty of contacts from the previous part of the model. So looking at this part, I think we'll only need about 3 or 4. So I'll select the model. Come on. So select the model, go into supports. I'll select medium, and then just place them just underneath where the islands are. Don't worry the fact that the parts actually come off the bed during this process. As long as you haven't put it all the way underneath here, underneath that part, the bottom, the model will drop onto the bed once you go out of supports. As you can tell there. But it's always best to double check. So I think that'll do it for them supports. So we'll save out the slice file. Always check through the model afterwards, just to make sure that everything's sliced properly. Estimated time 2 hours and 13 minutes. So I run through the preview. And there you go. Right, on the next part of the video I'll actually show you how to hollow out all these parts again, because we want to save resin. And remember, if you do enlarge these parts to make them actually fit on your bed, that the hollows that you do are a lot larger. So I'll set the offset to 0.5, then update. We won't really bother with that much accuracy and detail on the mesh, and select 2.5 on the actual holes. I will actually use the holes though. Most of the times I do it manually, but because there's so many parts I've decided just to use meshmixer for this. Alright, be careful when you're actually placing these down, because sometimes they will punch through to the other side. So click accept. And as you can see there on the right hand hole, just there, it's actually punched through a little bit, so we'll Control Z to undo it and try and find a better position for the hole. So generate holes and just check on the sides. It's always best to try and find a raised point. All depends on the slice. I'm putting 2 holes, 1 on each side for most of the models, just helps. And there you go, that one's looks a lot better now. You know, every bit of resin saved is a bit of extra cash in your pocket for more resin. So we'll save that out as an STL, and then we'll run through with all the parts, rotating the parts to the best position for the bed, and then hollowing them out and adding holes to all of them. Again, I'll do a quick time lapse for this part. This will take time, but it's worth doing. So transform, rotate, and then hollow out. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So accept, hollow, 0.5 again for the outer walls, then update the hollow, and then repeat the process with the holes. Okay, we've got a hole there through the actual model, so I need to do that one again. So Control Z, generate holes again. Make sure it's not going through the bottom part of the actual model, because the last thing you need to do is puncture a hole through there. So 2.5. Another quick check. Check again. No. Might be pushing it. Needs to go up a bit. Fingers crossed. Yep, there you go. So I'll repeat this for the rest of the parts, and I'll do a time lapse just to speed it up. I won't put you all through the amount of hours that it actually takes. Prepping models is the longest part of any of the models with printing, in my view anyway, especially with resin, but it's worth doing. It's always best as well to make a note of the parts that you've done on a piece of paper, just so that you don't get lost. This can be complicated when you're doing a 64 part split on a model. Take it from experience. Okay, now they're all sliced and saved, we'll load up the photon slicer and load a couple of the models in. Now I'm going to load up 2 parts of the face of the model into the slicer, and some parts that we load can actually be put together and printed as one part if you wanted to. Like these 2 parts will fit together. Now, even though they're both hollowed, as long as they line up correctly, they will have no problem printing and fusing together. You just need to make sure that the model parts are dead on. So always rotate around it and have a look. Zoom in. And try not to move the model too much, as in like with me rotating it there. So need to go to the move, which is at the bottom, and then just use the up and down arrows to alter the values on the X, Y and the Z. There we go. And that, if you printed it just like that, would fuse together as one piece. Now it works for most of the parts, but some parts you still need to print separately. But you can print more than one part on the base if you wanted to. You could have them split like this. And remember that printing one part takes just as long as printing two parts if they're the same height. But it all depends on how much you want to risk actually on the FEP. I tend to print them one at a time, just makes life a lot easier. Now, if I am correct, they might need a support just underneath there. So we'll add that and check around the rest of the model. You can put supports on the inside of the inner wall, that will help support it, and as you can see there, that support is actually in the way, so we'll click on edit, then move it out the way, and there you go. Now we'll just check on the other side. I don't think we'll actually need any more supports there, but I'll just run through again looking for islands, because you never know, it's always easy to miss. Now if you like the video, hit the like and subscribe button for more videos coming out soon. And that's basically it. So I wish you all happy printing, and hope to see some of your prints soon with a lot larger scale than what we have been doing. And so yeah, happy printing everybody. Just check on this side. No, looks like I'll be able to get away with supports on this side as well. So yeah, thumbs up, subscribe, enjoy. Catch you all again soon.